The Ghost in the Machine. In the quaint town of Everwood, where the past seemed to cling to the present like morning fog, there was a small electronics repair shop run by an elderly man named Mr. Henderson. The shop, nestled between a bakery and a bookstore, had been a fixture of the town for decades. Mr. Henderson had a reputation for being able to fix any gadget brought to him, no matter how old or damaged. One chilly autumn afternoon, a young woman named Lily stumbled into the shop, her face pale and eyes wide with fear. Clutched in her hands was an old, dusty laptop. She placed it on the counter with trembling fingers and looked at Mr. Henderson with a pleading expression. "Please," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "You have to help me. There's something wrong with this laptop." Mr. Henderson, with his kind eyes and steady hands, nodded and took the laptop to his workbench. As he powered it on, the screen flickered to life, revealing an interface that seemed far too advanced for such an outdated machine. The laptop whirred and hummed as if alive, and the cursor moved on its own, opening files and running programs with a mind of its own. "Tell me what happened," Mr. Henderson asked, his voice calm but his curiosity piqued. Lily took a deep breath and began her story. Lily was a freelance writer who loved collecting vintage gadgets. She found the laptop at a yard sale, buried under a pile of old books and forgotten trinkets. The seller, an elderly woman, seemed eager to part with it, almost relieved to see it go. Lily thought it would make a nice addition to her collection, not intending to use it for anything more than a decorative piece. That night, she powered it on out of curiosity. To her surprise, it booted up, revealing a desktop cluttered with old files and photos. As she began to explore the contents, she found a folder labeled Memories. Intrigued, she opened it to find hundreds of photos of a young family, a mother, father, and a little girl. But something was off. In every photo, there was a shadowy figure lurking in the background, sometimes barely visible, other times unmistakably present, staring directly at the camera with hollow eyes. Lily felt a chill run down her spine, but brushed it off as a trick of the light. As she continued to explore, the screen suddenly went black. When it turned back on, a message appeared. "Help me," Lily's heart raced. She tried to shut down the laptop, but it wouldn't respond. The message changed. "Don't leave me desperate." She slammed the lid shut and unplugged the laptop. For the rest of the night, she couldn't shake the feeling that someone, or something, was watching her. The next day, strange things started happening around her apartment. Lights flickered, electronics turned on by themselves, and she heard whispers in the dark, calling her name. When she finally mustered the courage to open the laptop again, she found more messages. "He's here, don't trust him," the last message sent her into a panic. "He's coming for you." That's when she decided to bring the laptop to Mr. Henderson, hoping he could make sense of the madness. Mr. Henderson listened intently, his brow furrowed. He had heard many strange tales over the years, but this one sent a shiver down his spine. He turned his attention back to the laptop, determined to get to the bottom of its haunting. As he navigated through the files, he found a hidden directory containing video recordings. He played the first one, revealing footage of the family from the photos. They seemed happy, but as the video progressed, the same shadowy figure appeared, growing closer and more distinct with each clip. The final video was different. The mother, with fear etched on her face, looked directly into the camera. "If you're watching this," she whispered, her voice trembling, "we are already gone. The laptop is cursed. It's a conduit for something evil, something that feeds on our fear and despair. It took my husband, it took my daughter, and now it's coming for me. Whoever you are, destroy this laptop. Burn it, bury it, do whatever you must, but do not let it take you too." The screen went black, and for a moment, the shop was eerily silent. Then, the laptop began to whir and hum, louder and more insistent. The screen flickered, displaying a new message. "You can't escape." Mr. Henderson's face paled. He quickly unplugged the laptop and shut it down, but the air in the shop felt charged with malevolent energy. He turned to Lily, who was trembling with fear. "We need to destroy it," he said firmly. "Now." Together, they took the laptop to the back of the shop, where Mr. Henderson had an old incinerator for disposing of electronic waste. As they placed the laptop inside and turned on the incinerator, the machine began to whine and scream, as if in agony. The screen flickered one last time, displaying a final message. "I'll be back." The laptop melted into a smoldering heap, and the shop fell silent. Mr. Henderson and Lily stood there, shaken but relieved that the nightmare was finally over. Or so they thought. A week later, Mr. Henderson received a package with no return address. Inside was a brand new laptop, the latest model, gleaming and pristine. Confused, he powered it on. The screen flickered to life, displaying a familiar message. "I'm back." In the days that followed, strange occurrences began to plague the town of Everwood. Electronics malfunctioned, whispers echoed through empty rooms, and shadows danced in the corners of people's vision. The curse of the doomed devices had not been vanquished. It had merely found a new vessel. Mr. Henderson, now aware of the true nature of the evil he had unleashed, dedicated himself to tracking down and destroying every haunted gadget he could find. But the darkness was cunning, always one step ahead, spreading its malevolent influence through the very technology people depended on. The town of Everwood would never be the same, forever haunted by the ghost in the machine, a relentless entity that thrived on fear and despair, always seeking new victims, always waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to power it on and set it free.